Okay, so let's start with the topic 3. So in this session, first of all, I will discuss about topic 3, and after topic 3, I will move on to your assignment structure. Because in the previous session, we know that we have assignments, we're not going to have exams. So questions are the same like as your exams, 3 questions, one calculations, and other 2 questions are theory questions. Uh, but we do not know what should be the structure of your assignments, because I read some files that I received. I hope you also received from the Sunderland. In that file, they mention about the appropriate structure of your assignment, which thing you have to include in your assignments, and what examiner is looking forward to get those informations, right? So after topic 3, I hope we have enough time. So after topic 3, we will discuss about your assignments, assignment structure, right? And like in the previous session, I said that I will make uh, another video for your topic 2. I already made that video, but I need to make some changes in that video. So hopefully this evening, or maybe tomorrow morning, I will upload that video. So next week we will discuss about that video. All right. So so that video is very detailed information about your working capital, because some of you asked me questions that what should be include, not just only opportunity cost, of course, but some other kinds of issues, how we can resolve those issues in relation of working capital. All right. And then after this topic 3, you will be able to make your complete decision that which 3 questions you're going to do in your assignments. All right. Question 3 also interesting questions as question 2, um, compared to, of course, working capital. So anyway, it's completely your decision. You want to choose one theory, one calculation, or both theory, no calculations, right? It's your decision. And in addition, uh, I want to know, any of you until now have any ideas about topic 1? Because I heard from office staff, that some of you are having a trouble with these assignments. Uh, can you please tell me what problems you are facing regarding these assignments? Of course, not all of you, but few students. Any of you having a problem to understand what you have to do in these assignments? Say something. So you know how many questions, and you know the basic information about assignments. Of course, it's quite obvious. But can you tell me, uh, did you did you understand your question 1? Did you understand your question 1, which is calculation, constant resources?
Yes, but teacher, can you ask you about the requirement? We have to write a report or just calculate uh, A and B?
You mean, do you need to produce a report?
Yes, in the requirement in the question 1.
Uh-huh. No, you don't have to really follow the report formats, like as you are writing a reports to the manager. No, you don't have to follow. So that's what I'm saying. After this topic 3, I will tell you complete structure of your assignments. Means what you have to do in your assignments, what you have to write in your assignments, and when you are preparing your all the tasks. Right. So at the end of this session, I will discuss in very detail the content, the titles, and subsections, and all these kinds of information is very important. But of course, the meaning of report is not the report that I talked last time when I was talking about your exams. Reports means in the form of writing assignments in much more academic way, right? That's what I will discuss at the end of this session. Anybody, any other question? Any questions, or we start topic 3? Say something. Any questions, or we start topic 3?
Hả?
Can we start, or you have a question? Please say something. Can we start, or you have a question?
Teacher, I have a question, but I already sent you via Gmail if you answer me or not, because I have no idea.
What? What do you say?
Because I already sent you an email and all my question, I wonder, I asked you.
Oh, really?
But you, yeah, but you reply back to me like, I will send you back, but I have waited for a while, like for a
Yeah,
week, but I
maybe
haven't received.
I missed it. So because I received one email from the students, I already replied to her.
Yeah, because
Uh,
a couple of us have a question, but you reply just some of the students, and the rest you never you
so please send me right now. So can you send me right now so I can read and I can quickly give your feedback right now?
okay,
Can you please forward your email?
okay.
Okay, so I will discuss right now. Okay, another students was going to say something.
Teacher, can you see a lesson 1?
Yep.
And yes, in the lesson B, it have a small requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we do in this requirement. I see in a video you write a report include. Can
Mm-hmm.
you explain about this requirement?
Okay, so let me give you a moment. So here is your assignments. Yes, you have to write introductions and conclusion. I will come back to this point at the end of this session. That's what I said. So complete structure of your assignments. Yes, you need a introductions and conclusion. No, you should not skip the introduction and conclusion. You must write introduction and conclusion. This is the complete way of writing the academic reports or in academic way. All right. So please do not skip introductions and conclusion. Okay. So here is your assignment. So can you see the question one, right? Can you see question one?
Yes.
Okay. So in your question one, you said uh,
Small requirement in a Western B.
question B. Okay. The question B is a market. Yeah. So what you have to do in this question B, first of all,
No, just requirement. Just a requirement because I do Western A and Western B yet, but the requirement I don't know how to.
critically evaluate this strategy and state your findings as to expected increase the contribution and discuss any issues in particular in regards to the overtime that could. Yes, that's what I mentioned you in the last video. Remember, I mentioned you about the in the report formats. I mentioned some points. Even though in the previous class I also mentioned these points. Did you remember that?
Yes, but
Yeah.
I still don't understand clearly, so I cannot finish. Cannot complete this question.
Okay. So you want me to speak about this one again? Requirements, only requirement section.
Yes.
Okay, so the video I'm going to upload this evening or tomorrow morning. In that video I will also mention the requirements part. All right, so in that video I will mention about the working capital that's I already prepared, and I will re-explain this requirements part, so you will understand. And then if you do not understand that requirements part, that I will make it in the video, I will repeat again next week. And next week we may not zoom on Saturday, maybe before Saturday, because Saturday is going to be too late. All right, so maybe we can make it on Monday, Tuesday, depends which day you are free. Afternoon, any afternoon. Later on you can tell me, we can do it on Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon, except Wednesday afternoon, because Wednesday afternoon is busy. Wednesday and Friday. So we can do any other day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. All right, so we don't have to wait until Saturday. If more questions, and then we will make on Saturday too. I can make 2 times, 3 times in a week. I'm okay, uh, as long as you understand. So this afternoon I will do that. All right, I mean this evening I will add this only requirements part, not A, not B. All right. So anybody, any other questions? I received email from you, someone. Uh,
Teacher,
mhm,
you can go ahead with other student asking,
mhm.
and tonight you can reply back to my email. I think
Okay, so
is
let me read your your question so I can understand it. Okay, your question one. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, your discussion part makes sense to me, but I think I have to give you some comments from your calculation parts. I think you have to improve your calculation. The way that you are doing your calculation is like as
yeah.
BTech, but of course you have to improve. But your the structure for your theory part, discussion part is okay. All right, so I will reply your email to give you comments for your complete task, including theory and the discussion. But again, the theoretical part for me, it's logical and it makes sense. But calculation, of course, you have to improve your calculation part.
Okay, teacher, I'm my pleasure. Happy to hear that.
Okay, so students, any other questions you have? So can we start topic 3, or do you want to ask something else before topic 3? Say something.
You have a question in chat box.
Questions about
Uh,
chat box? Okay, let me.
do we need to write an introduction and conclusion
Yes,
in
yes, I already answered this question. Yes, you need introduction and conclusion.
executive?
Yeah, at the end of this session, I will talk about the complete structure of your assignments, like as cover page, abstract, introduction, body, conclusion, appendix, and reference. That's the complete structure of your assignments that I will discuss later in this session.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's compulsory, it's important. So I will mention something is compulsory, and I will mention something is optional. Right? So
Yes.
optional means you can add it to improve the quality of your assignments. Compulsory means minimum requirements to complete your assignments. All right. So any other question? Can we start? Can we start with topic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So topic 3 is about transfer pricing. Right. Uh, First of all, we need to understand, of course, what is the meaning of transfer pricing. So let's start with the introduction. So what is transfer pricing? Transfer pricing is the pricing that one department use it to transfer goods and services to another department within the organizations. Right? I repeat, the word transfer pricing means when one department in an organization is transferring goods and services to another department. So whatever price we charge it, that one department charge, that price called a transfer pricing. Right? So let me write down here. For example, uh, we have a cold drink company. So let's say company name is, let's say, Coca-Cola. Right? So Coca-Cola has a two division. One division is a, so Coca-Cola, this is a supplying division, right? And another division is a receiving division, right? Supplying division is about, for example, bottling, right? Bottles. And it's a soft drink, right? So supplying division supply bottles to soft drink department, and then soft drink department, they fill it and they sell to the customer, right? Right. So of course, customer is a person who is outside the company. All right. So remember, whatever product supply department will transfer to the receiving department, that product is called intermediate product. Intermediate product, right? In simple words, you can say that it's a unfinished goods. All right, unfinished goods, because customer looking for a complete cold drink bottles, not just a bottle. All right, it's a finished goods. So remember, the activity between this to this is internal, inside. All right, it's a inside. Okay, so whatever price, so let me write down here, whatever price supply department charge from receiving department, that price called transfer pricing, right? So this is a transfer pricing. So in transfer pricing, of course, supply department is generating money, revenue for divisions. And in receiving department, they are bearing a cost, because supply department will transfer some kinds of product and services to the receiving department. So means receiving department has to pay money. So it will be the cost for receiving department, and it will be revenue for supply department or supply divisions. All right. So whatever price supply division charge from receiving department, that's price called a transfer pricing. All right. Okay. So, and then the product is a final, and after using bottles, when product is ready, then receiving department will sell a final product, right? Final product to the outsider. So final product is a finished products, and the product supply division is transferring to receiving division. It's an intermediate product, right? That's very basic ideas behind a transfer pricing, right? Now, the question is how to calculate this price, how we estimate that what price supplying division will charge from receiving department, right? In order to estimate the price, we have a methods, right? We have a methods. So we have we have 5 methods, right? We have 5 methods. First method is a market based transfer pricing, right? Second method is a cost plus pricing. We call it markup, right? Cost plus pricing, right? Method, transfer pricing method. Third method is a marginal costing transfer pricing method, or marginal cost transfer pricing method. Next one is a full cost transfer pricing, and this, another name of this full cost is a, we call it without markup. So means in this method we estimating cost without markup, and in this method we estimating cost with markup, right? And the last method is a negotiated transfer pricing method. All right. So we have 5 different methods. So company can apply any of these methods to estimate the price that one department will charge from the another department. All right. So in your assignments, if you look at your assignments, the last question 3, in this assignment, you have to choose any 2 methods. All right. Out of 5, you choose any 2 methods to explain it. Right. If you want, you can add some numbers. It's completely your decision. All right. So in this session, I will cover all the methods, right? But I will focus more on the concepts. I will focus more on understanding all of these methods, right? Because if you understand all these of methods, it's very easy for you to make your own questions and to apply that question in a form of numericals, right? But if you want later on, if you are interested in this topic, then I can make another video for you to just only talk about the calculations. All right. But again, you have to understand the concepts of all these methods before we move on to calculation if you are interested. Okay. So in this session, I will discuss about all these 5 methods. You can choose any of 2, which 2 questions you found is much more interesting for you. And I will also tell you that how these methods are different from each others. What are the situations or particular criteria or requirements to apply all these kind of methods. All right, and then we will discuss more, maybe the calculation things, right? So let's start with the first method, which is market-based transfer pricing, right? Okay, we also have a purpose of transfer pricing. I mean, why transfer pricing is important, or why organizations they apply transfer pricing. Why they do not simply use a centralized system in an organization. In centralized system means organization do not focus on the, I would say that performance of each division or each department. All right, they consider all the units, all the branches as a one group. So they do not look at this branch has a profit or this branch has a loss. They look complete organization, whether the final number of this group has a profit or loss. All right. But transfer pricing, basically we use in the decentralized system. Decentralized system is a system where we look at the performance of individual divisions instead of as a general. Because if individual division performance is good, as a result, the complete or the full organization performance good. Right? So that's why this transfer pricing method is really effective. So we call it what are the purpose of transfer pricing. All right. At the end of completing all the methods, I will discuss about the purpose of transfer pricing. All right. So let's start with the
Teacher,
yep.
can I ask that the transfer prices can be applied to between 2 subsidiary or 3 subsidiary?
It can be applied, no problem, as long as there is a kind of transfer of goods and services from one subsidiaries to another subsidiaries. But of course, there should be a transfer of goods and services from one subsidiaries to another.
But if there are there are occur transaction between 2 subsidiary, so it's also occur the taxation.
Taxation, yes, taxation is occur when the organization is in foreign country, like as Coca-Cola. So now let me come back to your question. So you asked me questions that is it, I mean, this transfer pricing is a possible between subsidiaries? Yes, of course. It is possible as long as these subsidiaries are providing goods and services to the another subsidiaries. All right. Okay. And second thing, you asked me about the tax point of view. Of course, this transfer pricing is one of the most, I would say, the effective methods in order to minimize the tax liabilities. All right. So, for example, one unit is in Vietnam, another unit is in Singapore, right? And uh, if Vietnam tax corporation tax. In Vietnam, we call it corporation income tax (CIT). In Vietnam, if corporation income tax, of course, which is lower than the Singapore, so what they will do, they will they will try to use this tax rate in order to minimize their overall tax obligations. All right. So they will try to. So, for example, if company cost increase, company profit decrease, tax obligation is decreased. So that whatever units is in Vietnam, they will, of course, they can buy raw material from Vietnam. Instead of buying raw material from Vietnam, they will start buying raw material from Singapore. As a result, material cost, manufacturing cost will increase, gross profit or net profit will reduce. In simple words, tax obligation will reduce. But of course, paying tax in Vietnam is benefits compared to paying tax in Singapore. Yes, so this transfer pricing method also used to take the advantage of the tax. But again, we can take the advantage at only one condition: if another country has a lower tax rates, right? So most of, if you are interested, you can watch some case studies about the Coca-Colas, that how Coca-Cola is trying to use the transfer pricing strategy to minimize their tax obligations, or maybe they are not paying tax, something like this. All right.
Okay, thank you.
So let's start with the um, first first method, which is market based. Market based transfer pricing. So so if you want to apply this method, so let's talk. So if you want to apply this method, so what is the requirements and what is the particular situations in which we can adopt this method? This method is optimal in the situation when we have a competitive markets, right? If we have a competitive markets. Now, what does it mean, competitive markets? Uh, Competitive markets means the market in which single buyer or seller do not influence the price of the particular product, right? Single person will not give significant impact over the uh, price of the product. That's the meaning of competitive markets, right? So, and another uh, another way to understand competitive markets is where the product and services are identical. So different types of buyer and seller for particular product and services. So if different kind of buyer and seller, so one buyer or one seller do not um, reflect, so do not reflect the price. So this is the minimum requirements to apply this market-based transfer pricing. So when the market is competitive, organization, they choose market-based transfer pricing, right? And Another thing about market-based transfer pricing, as you can see that market-based, which means whatever price is available in the markets, supply division using that price to transfer product and services to the receiving department. Right? That's the meaning of the market-based. So whatever price is available in the market, because market is a competitive market, there is not just a group of people who are controlling the price. So its price is much more fair for all the kinds of buyer and seller, no matter inside the organization or outside the organization. All right. So the second thing that we have to focus in this market-based transfer pricing is so no matter receiving department buy internally or externally. All right. No matter receiving department buy within the organization or outside the organization. Why? Because the price is decided by the market. So supplying decision use the same price which is available in the market. So in both situations, the cost of receiving department or profit for whole company will be the same, right? So let me give you an example. I'm going to show you one example. Through that example, you can understand. So let's say I write if supplying division sell intermediate products to outside, which means receiving department is not taking goods and services internally, means they choose outsiders, right? So if service department directly sell outside intermediate products, because receiving department is not taking any service internally, they choose outside, right? So if this is the situation, what will be the impact? So let me draw this one as a small diagram. With the help of the diagram, probably you can understand. So we have a service department here, all right? And here is a market buyer or outsiders, right? So I'll write down here outsider, right? So let's say we have 1,000 units, right? 1,000 units, and service department spend $10 to produce intermediate products, right? And the market price, I'll write down here, market price of, if supply division sell in a markets, the price is, let's say, $15. All right. So which means if supplying division will sell this product to outsider, supplying division will make 5,000 profit. This is the contribution. All right. I repeat, if supplying division selling outside, $10 is a cost per unit, $5 is a revenue per unit. So as a result, 5,000, 5 multiplied by 1,000, 5,000 is the profit, all right? $5,000 is the profit. Company will generate profit or supplying division generate profit, all right? Okay, now we have here is a receiving division, all right? So here, supplying division sell outside. So what does it mean? It means receiving division is buying from outside. They are not buying from inside because it's receiving this division decision. They choose inside or outside. So let's say receiving division is buying from outside. So means this outsider is supplying to receiving division, and the cost is $15 per unit. So let's say receiving division buying 1,000 units at $15. All right. And once you bought uh, unfinished goods or material or anything, of course, you have to spend extra material, extra labor. So receiving department gonna spend some kind of processing cost. So let's say processing cost is $5, which is spent by receiving department. All right. So now the total cost of receiving department is $20 per unit. So now it's time to sell in a market as a final product. So I'll write down here, market. So now receiving department is selling in a market. So receiving department selling 1,000 units. So cost is $20. $15 is a buying cost, $5 is a processing cost. All right. So now, so the cost is a $20. And for example, market price is, let's say, $30. Market price, let's say $30. So which means if receiving division will sell outside a final product, then receiving division is making $10,000 profit, right? 20 is a cost, 30 is a revenue, which means 10. 10 multiplied by 1,000 is 10,000, right? So this is the profit that receiving department is generating. As a result, overall company is making $15,000 profit. All right. As a result, company is making $15,000 profit. So this is the example when supplying division is not supplying to receiving division. Receiving division is buying from outside, because no matter you buy inside or outside, price will be the same. So now I'm going to give you one more example. This is, for example, this is example one. This is example one. All right. So I'm going to give you second example. Second example is if supply division sell internally, right? Supply division is supply to receiving division. So in other words, receiving division is not buying from outside. So in this situation, of course, overall profitability will be the same like as the first one. So I'm going to show you how it will be the same. Right? So we have here we have a supplying division. All right, and here we have a receiving division. Right. Now, supplying division is supplying to receiving division, which is 1,000 units at $10, right? And the market price is 15, which means same example that I mentioned here, right? So receiving division is buying from supply division. So which means supplying division making profit, which is 5,000, right? This is the profit by the supplying division. all right? Because same like as here. Now, what uh, receiving department is doing here? Receiving department cost is $15, and receiving department gonna spend additional $5 to process the product, right? So receiving department has a $15 as a buying cost plus $5 as a processing cost, which means total is $20 and 1,000 units. So that will be the cost of receiving department. If receiving department sell to the market, right? Sell to the market, and market price same, which is $30 per unit. So $10, as you can see, $10 per units, receiving department is making money. As a result, profit is a $10,000, right, for receiving department. So you can see company making total profit, which is also 15,000, right? That's the meaning of no matter, all right? No matter you buy internally or externally. So your profit will be the same, right? That is your market-based transfer pricing, right? So again, it's completely fair pricing method, and completely uh, organization is not force one department to supply goods and services to another department. They are not forcing. Why? Because as a result, company profitability is unaffected. So it's completely department manager decision. So the particular department, they have a decision whether I want to choose internally to buy or externally to buy. Okay. Uh, Besides manager decision, this method also implement when company do not want to compromise the quality of goods and services, right? For example, just example, Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola do not want to compromise the taste of the drink which is supplying outside Vietnam and inside Vietnam. They do not want to compromise the quality of the product. So that's why if Coca-Cola think no matter we buy raw material from Vietnam or outside Vietnam, cost will be the same, we will choose outside Vietnam because it will maintain the quality, right? Which means they use internal department or divisions to supply services to the another divisions. All right. So that's why that's also the question for the question that you asked, that taxation point of view, we also use transfer pricing. Yes, but not, of course, not always the taxation. Another reason for the transfer pricing is to maintain the quality that company wants to maintain it. I mean, the quality of goods and services. So that's the ideas behind market-based transfer pricing. All right. Now we move on to the second method. Second method is a cost plus pricing or cost plus pricing markup. So second method is a is a cost plus a markup or cost plus pricing. So let's say cost plus markup transfer pricing method, right? Uh, okay, so let's start with the first one, right? Now, what this method about? As you can see, cost plus markup, all right? Sometimes we call it cost plus pricing with markup. That's another name of this method. Now, this method, the good thing about this method is what this method, of course, I will come later when I will talk about the formula for this method to estimate that transfer pricing. This method is easy to apply. All right. This method is easy to apply because of the simplicity of uh, of, of the formula that we use in this method to estimate the transfer pricing. All right. Because of this reason, this is simple. Besides that, of course, cost plus pricing method. This method basically apply internally. All right. Internally, which means this method, receiving division, they don't have choice to buy from outside. All right. The reason is that maybe the cost could be a first reason, because you buy internally has a different cost. So let me write down here. This method is basically based upon the three things. I would say that why this method is applied within the organization. We cannot apply when you are buying from outside. The first thing is that cost effective. Cost effective. So means you are buying internally maybe cheaper compared to outsiders. Why? Because outsiders are less likely to compromise their profitability. As a result, they're going to charge a higher price. But internally, the internal department may compromise, or they have a different kinds of goal in relation of profitability. So that's why the price could be different. So this method could be cost effective for receiving department. Second thing is quality. Quality. Buying material from outside can affect the quality of the products, and receiving department do not want to compromise the quality of the product. So that's why instead of buying outside, receiving department is buying from inside. Another reason for this method, or another condition or situations to uh, apply this method, is no markets. No market. There is no any market available for receiving department to buy from outside. So there is no any markets. The reason why no markets? The reason for no market is that receiving department needs a intermediate product, unfinished products, not the raw material. There is a difference between raw material and intermediate product. Raw material means the product processing hasn't started. Material is completely raw, right? But intermediate means the product already in some process. So maybe we need a less resources in order to complete product compared to the raw material, because raw material required more resources because more process. So there is no any markets for intermediate products. Intermediate product. In simple words, there is no availability. We call it non-existence. There's no any existence of such markets then which can meet the demand for the receiving department. By that reason, receiving department has no any options to buy from outside, right? So these are the mainly three reasons, or I would say that you can also call it requirements. Requirements. So if you meet all these three kind of requirements, or you face these three different kinds of situations, then of course you can apply cost plus markup transfer pricing, right? So that's the minimum criteria to apply this method. All right. Now, so in order to apply this method, what we need a cost information. Cost information. On the behalf of cost information, we will determine the price. If we do not have cost information available, then of course we cannot apply this method to estimate the transfer pricing. I need to know what will be the cost of this intermediate product. Once I have a cost of intermediate product, I will determine the price and I will use that price to supply to the receiving division. If I do not know what is the cost, of course, I am unable to estimate the price of this, right? So we need a cost information at first, right? Once we have a cost information, the second thing, we need a markup, right? Second thing we need is a markup. Now, what does it mean, markup? I don't know, you remember, is your BTech or not? But in your BTech, you're also studying a pricing decision, all right? In BTech, you also study that organizations are estimating different kind of strategy to determine the price. But you study only about pricing. So I don't know you remember or not, but it was a floor pricing, ceiling pricing, and cost plus pricing. So we use three different kind of strategy to estimate the price of organizations. All right. Here, we're gonna use one of these because ceiling and the floor pricing is not applicable because that's transfer pricing and that's final product pricing, which is different. All right. So markup means expected profit that company want to use using cost. All right. So let me write down here. In simple words, markup indicate the expected profit that company want to use based upon cost information. So for example, I want to make 10% profit of my cost. Whatever is the cost, I will make it 10% of that cost. I will consider as a profit that will goes in my pockets, right? So once you have a markup estimation, again, markup estimation is completely depends upon the organizations. How does organization apply that markup? Another way to estimate markup, if you do not know, I have no idea how to calculate markup. I do not know how much profit I should earn. Another way to calculate markup is a ratio. I hope you remember ratio, which is return on capital, return on capital employed. So return on capital employed is also the way to estimate the markup. Right? Return on capital employed, which is net profit after, divided by equity plus debts. This is the formula of return on capital employed, more about financial accounting. Okay, so once we identify the markup, then of course we use the formula to determine the price. All right, so let me write down here number 3, which is a formula. So what formula we will apply? Formula is a cost. So one thing I forgot to explain you. Cost means average total cost. All right. So average total cost is a combination of average variable cost and average fixed cost. So that's called average total cost. Average total cost means cost. So we got average total cost 1 plus M. M means markup. All right. So let's say my average total cost is $10, right? And 1 plus, let's say my markup is 10%. So 10% is, right? I guess. Right. No. Yes. So that will be 10%. So which means my price or transfer price will be 10.1. Right? So that will be the transfer pricing. The price I will charge from my receiving divisions. Right? So which means I am making a profit here. Of course, I repeat, that markup depends upon divisions to divisions. It could be a 10%, it could be 5%, it could be 20%. All right. So, but again, if uh, you know that there is no any such market or reliable market available for that kind of product, in this situation, may supply division maximize their markup because they have opportunities to make money from the receiving divisions. So that's why they can keep their markup very high, because they know that receiving division, they do not have any good options to buy from somewhere else. Eventually they have to come to the supply division to buy the product. So in that case, they can maximize their profitability. All right. So this is the ideas behind this one. So you already understand how to calculate markup, right? But you also need to know how to calculate cost information, how you will use it. Of course, here I'm not going to go in very detail. You know that you have a material cost, labor cost, overheads, some other kind of administration, marketing, packaging, distribution, so on, some other kind of cost we have. You know that, how to estimate cost information. But remember, in this method, cost estimation or cost calculation is very important, right? Cost estimation for this method is very important. Why? Because if your costs have a wrong estimation, so supplying division can suffer a loss, or receiving division can pay really high cost, which is not actual cost, because there is something wrong in the cost estimation. So remember, so when we are estimating cost, we can use 3 different ways to estimate the cost, right? The first one is a actual cost. On the base of whatever is the actual cost receiving supplying division is bearing, on the behalf of that actual cost, supplying division will determine the price using markup, of course. Second option is a forecasting, estimating. So we're gonna forecast how much will be the cost, and on the behalf of that forecasting, we add markup to estimate the price, right? And third one is a standard cost. Standard cost method or standard method of cost, right? Standard method of cost. Now, what is standard method of cost? Standard method of cost, in this method, we estimate cost on behalf of plant capacity. Plant capacity, right? So which means if plant capacity is high, our cost per unit will be low, right? I repeat again, if plant capacity is high, plant capacity to produce product is high, so which means cost of production will increase. Cost of production will increase. As a result, average total cost per unit will decrease, of course, because total cost divided by number of units. So let me write down here, average total cost. So we can write here total cost divided by number of units. So sorry, it's average total cost, right? So average total cost divided by number of units, we have a cost per unit. So if plant capacity is high, your number of production will increase. Number of production will increase, your cost per unit will decrease. So we got cost per units, we know markup, we calculate the price. If plant capacity is low, right, then we know our number of units, number of production units will be reduced. As a result, cost per units will decrease. Cost per units will increase. Cost per unit will increase. And then we use this cost per unit with markup to estimate the transfer pricing. All right. So this is the way to apply this cost plus transfer pricing method. This method is mostly applicable in a case of internally. So remember, this is the requirements. So this is the, okay, so now we move on to the next method. So next method is a marginal cost transfer pricing. So which is our third method is a marginal cost transfer pricing. Okay. Now, what is marginal cost here? What is a marginal cost? Marginal cost means additional cost of uh, unit production, or in other words, cost of producing additional units. Whatever is the cost of producing additional units, it's called a marginal cost. So cost of producing additional units, right? Cost of producing additional units, also called marginal costing, right? In accounting language, another name of cost of producing additional units called a variable cost. Because variable cost means if you produce additional cost, more products, I mean, if you're going to produce additional products, your cost will increase. So in other words, marginal costing means a variable cost. All right. Okay. But remember, this variable cost or marginal cost could be estimated only in short run. Future cost is completely unexpected cost. So that's one of the weak point of this marginal costing transfer pricing, is that this method cannot be applicable when there is a kinds of long-term decision. And we know that in organization, all the managers, they believe in a long-term strategies and long-term decision. So that's why among all the five methods, this method is the least applicable method. All right. Organization less likely to apply this method because the problem is the short run. All right. Okay. So now, what is the situation or the requirements to apply this method? So requirements, situation or requirements to apply this method. So if this method do not applicable in a long run, so why organization we choose this markets? Oh, sorry, this method. So why we choose this method? So the conditions to apply this method is that the market for intermediate product is non-existent, is non-existent. So means there is no any market. So condition is similar to the previous method, right? So we do not have a particular markets available in order to uh, estimate it, all right? Market uh, market for intermediate product is non-existence or imperfect. Imperfect. So means highly unexpected. reliable, highly unreliable. Okay, so let me give you example of this method. So you know that we have a total cost or average total cost, whatever. So total cost is a combination of a variable cost and a fixed cost. And you know that fixed cost is a uncontrollable. But variable cost is a controllable. So which means this variable cost could be increase or decrease in short run. All right, in short run. So this method focus much more on variable costing instead of fixed costing. Why? Because use fixed cost to estimate the price is completely not relevant. That's what we learn from the relevant decision making. All right. So in this method, we make a decision on behalf of contribution margin. Contribution margin. Because for one particular department, it's really hard to avoid a fixed cost, because that fixed cost may be bear by the whole department, no matter it's a supplying division, no matter it's a receiving division. All the kinds of department, they are bearing a fixed cost. All right. By that reason, I can't say that I should cover this cost because I am bearing this cost. Because to someone who I'm gonna sell this product to someone also gonna bear exactly same cost. So instead of estimating price on behalf of the total cost, I am estimating the price on behalf of the variable cost. Why? Because if I will increase or decrease my variable cost, my transfer pricing, supply division transfer pricing will increase. As a result, my profit will increase. So I can make some changes in my variable cost. So that's why when I am estimating my transfer pricing, I am completely avoiding fixed cost. Why? Because same reason, fixed cost is not only bear by me, receiving division also bearing a fixed cost. All right. So that's why in this method, we focus much more on the variable cost instead of a total cost. All right. So this is the reason. So means decision transfer pricing will be based on the contribution margin, increase or decrease contribution margin. All right. Okay. So now, but again, as I said in the beginning, because of this short run reason, as I said in the beginning, that one of the weak point of this method is variable cost is only available in a short run. It's basically impossible to estimate the variable cost in the future, because variable cost is a one of the most sensitive cost that could increase or decrease, right? So one of the problem of this method is hard to apply or not commonly used. All right. So not widely used by the departments. So what are the reasons? So why this method why this method is hard to apply. First of all, this method provides poor information. Poor information for performance measurements, performance evaluation, right? Poor performance, incomplete informations. Because when we're gonna make a decisions, when we're gonna make an evaluation, we're gonna evaluate on the behalf of the overall profitability. However, in this method, we have a partially information about the company cost. As a result, profitability evaluation is partially, profitability evaluation is partially measures, right? So that's why this method is providing incomplete or lack of information. Second one is another problem is, the nature of variable cost. Variable cost nature is non-constant. So which means variable cost is the cost we change over the period, right? So which means because of this non-constant or non-consistent behavior, the estimation or accurate estimation or reliable estimation or long-term estimation may not be suitable for the organization. As a result, manager will not able to apply the appropriate strategies that they're going to use it to determine the price, all right? It's this reason. Third thing is only short run. So it's unable to make a decision in a long run, because as I said, that's the nature of the marginal cost. That could be measured only in a short period of time, right? So that's all. Because of short run, manager, they reject it, because manager much more long-term goal oriented instead of the short run, right? So that's all about the marginal cost transfer pricing method. Now we move on to the next is number 4. So number 4 is full cost transfer pricing. So full cost transfer pricing. Another name of full cost plus transfer pricing is a without markup. So means we do not use markup to estimate the price of the product that we're going to supply to the receiving division, right? So now what happened in this method? Now what happened in this method? So let's say, let me write down here, we have a supplying division, right? And we have a receiving division. When supplying division is supplying to the receiving division, they will use only full cost. All right? Full cost means variable cost plus fixed cost. They use full cost as a price. So what does it mean? If supplying division is making full cost, which means supplying division profit is zero. Supplying division is not making any profit when they are transferring a material to the receiving division. But the good thing about receiving in this method, receiving division is willing to pay the full price, willing to pay for full price. So means if my cost is $10, right? Receiving division is willing to pay $10 to supplying division, all right? Willing to pay $10 to supplying divisions. That's the good thing. That's the simplicity and the good thing about this method, right? But now the question is, why receiving department is willing to pay full price to the supplying division? Because few reasons. Reason number one, receiving division has a more opportunity, because receiving division gonna sell as a final product. If receiving division gonna sell as a final product, receiving division can increase the price to increase its profit. Of course, receiving division, they're not gonna sell at $10. Receiving division will sell at 11, 12, 13, 14, so on, in order to make a profit. But supplying division will have a loss, because may outsider not willing to buy at the same price, or no market for intermediate product, right? If there is no market for intermediate product, no market means less demand. Less demand means demand decrease. So probably the price of that product will decrease. So price decrease means supply division has to sell at less than $10, right? Supply division has to sell at less than 10. If supply division will pay less than 10, supply division gonna have a loss, all right? So in order to support service department, receiving department willing to pay the full price, all right? Because supply division cannot sell outside, because they, of course, the demand for intermediate product is always lower than the demand of the final product. There are lots of customers are ready to buy final products because they don't have to spend for processing. But if the outsider will spend for processing, they want intermediate product low price. So they kind of influence supply division to charge a low price. As a result, supply division will suffer a loss. All right. That's the reason for this kind of a method, right? And okay, so now the question is when we can apply this method. What is a particular situation or the requirements. All right. Requirements for this method. So requirements for this method is if intermediate product is available in the market. If intermediate product available in the market, there are lots of seller in the markets, all right? And those seller, they are selling their intermediate product at profit. So means their price is high. Whoever seller available in the markets, their price is high. So which means if receiving department is buying from them, receiving department will pay more. So that's why receiving department will choose internally. First reason. All right. Second reason that why supplying division cannot sell in the markets, because already there are too much seller increase in the markets, large supply. All right. As a result, supply increase, the price of product will decrease. If the price of product will decrease, same example that I gave you before, that supplying division has to sell at less than 10, they will suffer a loss. So that's why they really do not want to make profit when they want to sell this product to the receiving department. All right, that's one of the major difference between full cost transfer pricing, which means without markup, and with markup. The conditions, situation, markets or requirements are completely different in two different methods. So it's not in my hand that I add my profit when I sell to the receiving department, right? I'm quite desperate. I don't have any options. Otherwise, if I sell externally, I'm gonna suffer a loss, right? So that's the reason uh, um, uh, that's the reason this method, so that's the good thing about this method. That's the reason this method is highly appreciated. This method is highly appreciated internally. Then cost plus markup. Compared to cost plus markup, this method is highly appreciated, highly adopted by the organizations compared to cost plus markup. All right. So that's all about your full cost transfer pricing. Now we move on to the last method, which is negotiated transfer pricing. Number 5 is negotiated transfer pricing. Right. This negotiated transfer pricing, as you can see, the name negotiated. So this method is based upon the price which comes up after negotiation between receiving and the supplying divisions. All right. So we have supply division, we have receiving divisions. All right. So they both gonna negotiate. All right. And so whatever price comes after negotiation, supplying division is willing to pay for that price. But remember, of course, whatever price supplying division is charging from receiving department, that price also cover the cost. All right. Of course, they are willing to cover the cost. If they are not willing to cover the cost, that methods will call at full cost without markup. All right. So in this method, we have a sum cost and some markup. But again, that markup is not depends upon the supplying division, like cost plus markup. In cost plus markup, supplying division is completely independent to determine its markup. But in this case, negotiated transfer pricing, this markup will be, of course, receiving division, they're not going to interfere in the markup because markup is determined by the supplier division. But receiving division gonna interfere in the price that receiving division is charging. So as a result, if price change, the markup will be changed. So in this situation, supplying division, they estimate markup on behalf of the price. But the previous method in which we use the markup, in that method, supplying division estimate markup on behalf of the capital employed or some other measures. But capital employed, return on capital employed is one of the common method, a common way to estimate the markup, right? Okay, so another situations to apply this method is when receiving division is having a difficulties to accept the price that is available in the markets, internally or externally. All right. So receiving division having a difficulty to accept or find the price, which could be internally or externally. Of course, external, outside, less likely to involve in a negotiation, but supplying division, they're much more involved in a negotiation. Okay. Now, when we use this method, so requirements of this method. The requirement of this method is we use this method when there is a several market prices available. All right. If several market prices are available, this is the method that is a highly possible to be implemented, because supplying division, they know that if I will charge high price, receiving division will go out because lots of markets is available, prices available in the markets. So that's why supply division involved in the negotiations, that price is acceptable by the receiving and of course by the supplying, right? But remember, another thing about this method. In this method, fair negotiation is important. All right. Now I'll give you situation in which unfair negotiation exists. What is a situation when unfair negotiation exists? Unfair negotiation exists is a situation when when supplying division, they have more products and receiving department, they have more resources. More resources mean more contacts to get the price. Supply division has a large amount of products, which means supplying division really want to sell it. But receiving division, besides supplying division, receiving division has multiple options are available. All right. So this is kind of unfair situation for service supplying division department. All right, because they have to come up with all the conditions that basically set by the receiving department. So they have to agree whatever demands for the receiving department. If this is the case, if you are agreeing all the demand for the receiving department, so which means there is no any room for negotiations, because you're meeting all the demands, even including price. So it means there is no any situation for the negotiations, right? So in this situation we call it unequal bargaining. Unequal bargaining exist. So which is not good for this method. All right. So in this method, in this situation, whatever price we come up with, that's not going to be appropriate price. That makes supply and receiving division happy. Remember, both division are part of the company. Right. So make sure there must be a fair transaction, fair dealing, one department to another department. But if there is an unequal bargaining exist, so there is not a fair transaction or fair dealing between these two divisions. All right. But now we come up with the conclusion of this method, which is the we have some problems with this method. The problem with this method is a time consuming. Time consuming method. All right. Besides time consuming method, time consuming process, this method, because of time consuming and multiple records and transaction, this method have to spend a lot of time in keeping multiple transactions, or keeping a large number of transactions, right? They're gonna keep a large number of transactions. Of course, in negotiation process, when you're gonna, at the professional level, in a large organization, when you are involved in a negotiation, of course, you have to records whatever is doing, whatever, I would say that whatever new steps you are taking to the new price, you have to record all the information, so higher managers can understand what actually happened in this process of determining the transfer pricing, right? So by that reason, requires really time consuming and have to keep a ton of transaction or lots of documents that we have to use it, right? So that's all about the transfer pricing method, right? Now we are running out of time, so I think this method is finished. Nothing much to study, but I can quickly summarize this method, and then we move on to your assignments. All right, assignment structure. So let me summarize this method. I think we going to finish the time, so better let it finish. So before I summarize all the methods, do you have any question? Because this topic is finished. Anybody has any question?
Teacher,
Yep.
do you upload this video on YouTube?
Yes, I will. I'm recording. Oh, am I recording? Or
Yes.
recording? Yes, I'm recording. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I will upload, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
So any questions about this one? Or I come up with the conclusion? Can I come up with the conclusion? No question? Say something? Can I come to the conclusion? Say something, yes or no? And then we move on to assignment.
Yes.
Okay. So that's all about your topic 3, right? So topic 3 is finished. So can we move on to the assignments now? Can we move on to the assignment structure? Is something? Yes or no?
Yes.
So after assignment structure, you can ask me a question, whatever question you have regarding question 1, 2, and question 3. Right? So here is your assignment. So few things I'm gonna explain you first, and then I will show you how your assignment should look alike. So in this, the first thing is your word count. So your assignments has a 3,300, all right, word count. In this 3,300, excluding, of course, cover page, whatever you're writing in cover page, it will not count. Table of content, it will not count, right? And reference list, right? Reference list. Whatever you are writing in these 3 part of your assignments, it will not count as a word count. So what word count, what this include? So in this one, of course, if you have any abstract, all right, introduction, your assignment body means all task, all right, and conclusion, right? So these cover your 3,300 words. So this is completely your plan how you're gonna attempt your question. But if you really want to know, you don't know how many words in introduction and conclusion, I can help you. All right, so don't worry. Okay. Second thing is, of course, you know that. I think I don't have to speak too much. Answer any two. All right. That's you know that. And which two question is also your decision. Right. Next is, okay, that's important. So whenever you are doing your task, right? So make sure you organize your task, no matter question 1, 2, or 3, organize your task in subsections, right? But for example, your question 1, you already have a subsections, right? So question 1, you don't have to worry too much about subsections, because it's more about quantitative and qualitative points. So, but whatever information you are providing, it must be with particular subsection. But again, the subsection mostly implement on your discussion based question 2 and question 3. Subsections are really important, right? The important section in your question, right? So that's like, as for example, these two methods. For example, the first method is cost plus pricing. In cost plus pricing, what are the important points, like as requirements is subsection. So you make a requirements and you explain, right? Formula is also kind of section, and then you calculation and so on. Next one is the advantage, disadvantage. So these are the main key points of your questions called as subsections. All right. So for discussion based question, you need to focus on the subsection parts as well, not just simply writing a big paragraph and examiner has to find the information. All right. It must be clearly visible. Clearly visibles could be a bold with underlines or italics, so examiners can easily read your subsection. So it's look much more organized and much more beautiful. Presentation is very important. Next one is each task must be clearly visible. All right. It Whenever you are starting a new task, I suggest you question one finished. This page, if you have some space left, leave that page empty. Start from the new page. Right? It must be clearly visible. The question 1 finish and question 2 starts. Question 2 try to start from the next page. Right? That's my highly recommendation for you. Right? So it must be clearly visible. All right. Not just a task, not only task, but of course also your subsections. All right. Your subsections also be clearly visible, task and subsection both. So you can read, your examiners can read all the important information and key points in your assignments, right? Next one is the English. So no matter it's grammar, right, or it's spell.
Teacher,
Yep.
can I ask you a quick question?
Yep.
Because in the assignment brief guidelines, I also see the word count, and they are also recommend us to put in the end of the report. But I also, I referenced from some previous students in the previous course, and they said that we can also make sense if we put in the cover page.
What do you mean? What put in cover page?
The word count. For
Yeah,
example, my document.
yeah, I will come to this point. I'm gonna show you the structure. In the structure,
Okay.
I will also mention this point. All right.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your idea. Okay.
So, so also also subsections, right? So your subsection must be clearly visible. Now we move on to the next. So please, next is the English. All right. In English, you have grammars, spelling check, sentence structure is very important. All right. So make sure you write appropriate structure or writing that makes sense. Right. So in your assignments. Right? Next one is the originality. Right. Make sure so try to keep originality, and you know that you can do it through the Turnitin, minimized copy paste, right? Copy paste from Google's, try to rewrite down all the things in your own words, all right? By giving the reference, of course, in-text reference. Even though you read something in textbook, even though you are writing in your own words, you need a reference for it, because you reading some other things means you're taking a support other resources, all right? So wherever you are reading, whatever you are reading is not your ideas, all right? Whatever you are writing in your assignment, it comes from some other sources. So whatever you're writing, wherever you're writing, from wherever you are taking the information, you need a reference, in-text reference, right? I hope you know in-text reference. So means uh, cost plus pricing methods is one of the most widely used method, blah, blah, blah. And then let's say Mr. James in 2001, something like this. So this is the example of the in-text reference. All right, I hope you know that. And the last thing is referencing. All right. Referencing, as I said, you need an in-text in the assignments body, and you need a reference list. All right, reference list. So this is the minimum things that you have to focus. Do you have any question regarding this, or we move on? Any questions or move on? Say something, any question or move on?
Move on, teacher.
Move on. Now, I will talk about your assignment structure. All right. So in this structure, some of information is compulsory and some of information is optional. All right. So I will tell you which one is compulsory and which one is optional. The first one is a cover page. All right. In cover page, of course, you need to write down your name, university name, your assignments, title, and so on. And the important thing is a word count. All right. Important thing is a word count. All right. In your cover page. After cover page, you have a table of content. All right. you know how to prepare table of content. Next, table of content, you of course you have a introduction, all right? If you want, you can give abstract before introduction. Abstract means a summary, and the maximum limits for abstract, your assignments do not say anything, but I will say that try to keep it maximum 100 words, all right, for your abstract, all right? After introductions, you have a assignment body, which cover 2 tasks, all right? Which cover 2 tasks with subsections, of course, as I said before, and in-text referencing, all right? In-text referencing in this assignment body part. After body, you have a conclusion. After conclusion, if you want, you can give some appendix. Appendix for mainly kind of tables. You don't like to show tables in body, so you show table in your appendix, or any kinds of diagram. You don't show in your bodies, but you can show in your appendix. And after appendix, you have a referencing list, right? Reference list, you must use Harvard style, all right? So that is the assignment structure. So now I'm gonna tell you which one is optional and which one is compulsory, all right? Cover page is compulsory, all right? Table of content, your supervisor, they don't, I mean, your examiner don't say anything about table of content, but from my point of view, your assignment is gonna be long. So I suggest you, yes, you keep it in your assignments. Abstract is optional, all right? But introduction is compulsory, all right? Of course, that's compulsory. Conclusion also compulsory. Appendix is optional. So keep in your mind, as I said, some students, I mean, it's your choice. Some student wants to show the table, diagram, picture, graph, anything in body, all right? But some students, real academic way, I'm give example of the academic paper writing. So they show all the tables and everything in appendix, all right? So this is your choice. You want to show in body or you want to show in appendix. But again, if you show in body, so let's say, I'll show you example of this one. But you have to, so you can say here, table 1, right? Just you write table 1 instead of showing the table. And here in appendix, you're showing table 1, full table, right? Table 1, right? So as I said, it's completely your choice. If you are not showing in body, so you have to show in your appendix, all right? So it's your choice. Referencing, yes, of course, it's compulsory, right? Appendix for compulsory, appendix for any textbook, all right? If you are watching any videos, if you are using any websites, all right, any slides or any kinds of documents, Word documents, or any kinds of PDF. So all the referencing you have to say, you have to use it, right? Any kinds of sources, or of course you are using any article, any journals, right? So that articles and journals can also use as a reference, right? So this is the complete structure of your assignments. And student asked me, teacher, do I need to show introduction and conclusion? Yes, you have to show introductions in your conclusion. So introductions means you're going to show what you're going to write down in all the tasks, right? So introductions could be 150 words, 200 words, is your choice, right? So let's say you can keep introduction 200 words, because in 200 words you have two tasks, 100 and 100, right? And conclusion you can also keep 200, right? Still you have minimum 2,600 words available, maybe more than that, right? Actually plus 300 too. So 2,900 words still you have left for your assignment body. If you are showing abstract, then 2,800 here and 100 for abstract, as I said, all right? So in your introduction, you have to explain that what you're gonna write down in your assignments, all right? So summarize your task one, question one, summarize your question two. That's going to be part of your introduction. And conclusion, what information reader understand from your assignments, from your reports, that quality information. Make sure do not repeat whatever you have write down in your introduction, and same thing your conclusion. Don't repeat that, right? Introduction means what you're going to do in this and what is the outcome from this reports, this assignments. For example, let me give you some example. Uh, what is your objective? What is the objective of question one and question two? I'm giving example. What is the objective of question one and question two? This is your introduction, right? And conclusion is what are the outcomes from question one? If you summarize it, outcomes, results, right? It could be constant resources, or it could be how to maximize the capacity of machines, or how to maximize the worker performance, overtimes and motivation and so on, right? And outcome for your working capitals could be what are how companies can maximize the use of the working capital or minimize the working capital requirements and so on, in very summarized way. Or maybe question three, summary of cost-based pricing method, widely used, less widely used, negotiated method, commonly used, something like that. All right. So this is the ideas behind your assignment structure. All right. So any question?
Sure, I have a question about appendix. Regarding about tables and diagram, if I have something I want to explain more, but my body is limited words, so for that reason, so I write down the table or diagram, and so I will explain more some detail.
No, I won't recommend you to do that. BTech assignments are okay, but we are very strict about the words.
Okay.
If you want, you can use footnotes. You know footnotes?
I have no idea about that. Could you please explain for me?
I show you footnotes. Wait.
Okay.
Okay, here I should be. So I show you here. So this is the abstract, all right? Abstract. If you want, next to abstract, can you see that fine?
Yes, teacher. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is the abstract. And abstract, this is, if you want, you can write some keywords. Keywords, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, maximum 5 or 6. The keywords means the words repeat again and again related to management accounting. So it's optional. Again, it's optional, right? So let me draw here.
What do they tell us?
You mean keywords?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keywords.
Keywords is a optional. Keywords means any kinds of word which repeat again and again. You are using again and again your
Okay.
assignments. But not a manager, not just a manager. It could be a constant resources, limiting factors, quality words that belongs to your task 1 and task 2. Again, it's optional. If you don't know, don't understand, don't worry. Right? So this is
Yeah.
title of your assignments, whatever, abstract. Okay, introduction. Now I show you footnotes. That's the meaning of, okay, can you see here?
Yeah, I see. I see. We clarify stable.
So let me show you the red color. Okay. So this is your footnotes. Further explanation. Let's say, let me find out where is footnotes here. Here. 1. So I footnotes here. Footnotes help you to reduce the size of the words. I mean, but don't keep too much footnotes. Right? 1, 2, 3 is enough. Right? So that's the meaning of footnotes. So don't write extra words in your appendix. Use footnotes. All right. Footnote means you don't want to explain something here, but if you want to know about that information, you can write down here. So this is called footnotes, right? And regarding, so in-text referencing should be like this, like as I'm using here, in-text referencing here, right? Where did I get this information, right? Where did I get this information? I read this paper to get this information. That's the meaning of footnotes, right? Oh, sorry, that's the meaning of in-text reference. So you can see all these are in-text reference.
Sure. If in each paragraph we have the same author, so do we need
Yes,
to write down
you
types?
have to use the author as per sentence,
Ah,
right? All right,
yeah.
so as per sentence, but not one reference again and again. Don't do that. So that's why I suggest you use the various resources, variety of information, not just one textbook to complete your assignment. No, don't do that. Try to read 2 or 3 different textbooks, 2 or 3 different paper to get more and more information. If you have a good number of referencing, so means you read many information, to get, because that information presented by 1, 2, 3, 4, or same information in 3 textbooks, so you can write 3 reference in 1 sentence. Like, as you can see that. See, you can see I use 2 resources to write this information. Start from here to here. So I use 1 and 2. So means 1 textbook, 2nd textbook to write this sentence. All right. But my suggestion for you is that try to write more referencing. It gives the very positive impact over examiner, means assignments you made a many good research. Now I show you the, see, you can see that footnotes, that's footnotes. Number 4 is here. When you click in the Word documents, it's automatically show you footnotes. You write here and then automatically it will show footnotes. So it's
Yeah.
now I show you the table. If you are interested to put table, see, you can see that I have 2 options. Option 1 is I draw table 1 after this paragraph, right? Or second option is that I write insert table, and this table 1 I put in appendix. But don't need to tell me that where in appendix. Just simply say insert table. That's it. All right. I repeat, you have a 2 option. Option 1 is you draw table here. All right. Draw table here. This is option 1. You don't need to write in body. Or second option is that you simply write insert table 1 and then you put table in appendix. You understand? Did you understand?
Yes, teacher. Yeah.
And then that's all. I think. Let's see all that. I didn't write any table here, but if you go to appendix, so in appendix, see all the tables in appendix, whatever calculation, whatever numbers is in appendix. All right. So that's all.
Teacher, my last question is that, for example, if in my assignment I choose question 2 and 3, so in the body, we just write down in orderly. Like, for example, after introduction, I write down question 2 because I don't do question 1. We just write down question 2 regardless question 1, right?
Yes. So see, when your examiner will read introduction or read abstract, with the help of abstract or introduction, your examiner will understand which 2 questions you are using. That's the purpose of the introduction. What are you going to do in your assignments? I'm going to do task 1, but you don't need to say task 1. So first of all, I'm going to use the constant resources, and of course, examiner will understand constant resources is task 1. And in second paragraph, working capital requirement, blah, 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 examiner will understand next question is student is doing working capital requirements.
Yeah, it's my idea.
Yeah, okay. So
And that's all for me.
Yeah, any other questions, anybody? Any question? Say something, any question? If no question, can we stop here? Can we stop, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I stop, so today or tomorrow I will upload the video, right, for working capital. And then we will arrange your free time and then we will arrange the video, right? Please send me email if you have any question, right? Thank you very much. I'll see you.
Thank you.